Hey, this is Flatlander Mike from Saskatchewan, Canada again, and we're gonna change it up a little bit today. We're gonna do a short video on the 2014 Yamaha Viking, and we have tracks on this vehicle. Well, I have tracks on it, and they recommend their Camso tracks, and they recommend that you repack the bearings on the idler wheels once a year, so usually in the spring. So I have been doing what they recommend is putting 5 cc's of oil in the rubber caps. They take the rubber cap off, put the 5 cc's of gear oil in there. Now I use synthetic gear oil, and so I've been doing that for a couple of years, and I noticed this fall before I put the tracks on, there was a little bit of grease in there. So I'm thinking maybe they need to be repacked. And also there's seals on the inside, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have to put seals in or not. But I noticed a little bit of oil residue on the shafts on the inside of the idler wheels. So anyway, the thing is that you can buy a puller to pull these off, but the thing is the puller is over 300 bucks Canadian. So I decided to try and make one, and we're going to see how it works. So this video is going to take it's going to be short, but we're going to be taking some time. There's going to be a bit of a lapse, so but when I do finally get it, it'll be springtime. Right now we're about the middle of February, so I'll be taking the tracks off in probably the middle of March, end of March sometime, possibly April sometime. Depends when the snow goes away, because I do use this for plowing snow too. So anyway, I'm going to just show you the track and show you where the idlers are and how they do it. So we're going to just go down here. So you can see there's the idlers there, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I think 3 or 4 on the other side, 3 on the other side, and they're offset. Plus we also have the end idlers here that hold the track. There's 1 on each side, and if you can really see in there, there is a seal on the inside. So we'll probably have to order some seals, and we'll see how it works. But we're going to see how this works with a puller. Now they recommend you take the tracks off each set. So I have to loosen them right off with the adjusters here, right there, and then take the track off. There's also a guide. It's a plastic guide, really tough plastic. It goes in the middle and holds the track. If you can see it, it's right here. So there's a bit of a guide right there, and it goes all the way along the back here, down the center of the piece, and it holds the track on. So and then you have this one here, which is the drive, and all the weight sits. Now I think there's a double bearing in here, has gear oil inside that. So you can see right there, there's the plug there. You can pop this cap off here, put oil in there, or drain it and then fill it up on through that plug. So anyway, we're gonna just go over and show you the puller. I've already started it, but I'll give you a progression there, and be right back. Okay, so I'm going to just show you what I did here. I bought some 1/4 inch plate steel. Now I went online and I saw a picture of this, how it's made. So basically it's just 2 pieces, 1/4 inch plate, and they're cut out in a C or U, I guess, which way you look at it. And then it has a nut, threaded nut here. I used a ready rod nut. Now, if you're doing this for a living, I would suggest that you buy a puller. You'll probably make your money back, but you know, every couple of years I'm going to pull it apart. So anyway, so that's what I started with. Now I've got this nut sandwiched between the two pieces, and it's straight. They're identical. I went and had a friend cut them out with a torch, since I don't have a plasma cutter. So they cut them with a torch, and then I went and I clamped them together here in a vise, and then I took a grinder and I ground them so they're identical. So, okay, and then the next piece I have is going to be this plate. So this plate goes on the bottom. I don't have a 1-inch bit, but I got a friend that has one, so we're gonna drill a 1-inch hole here and make a V out of it here. Gonna cut it out, and that's what's gonna go in behind the wheel, and then it's gonna pull it from there. So it is slotted on this end. I put 2 slots on it, so it goes in between these and fits down in there. Okay, so now you just gotta make sure you get it the right spot here. So it sits about like that. And then this will be welded in. And then this is a piece of 5/8 ready rod. And of course I will lubricate this with anti-seize. That does go in there. So then you just screw this in, and before I weld all this together, I will screw this down, make sure it sits right in through the hole here, lines up. Okay, so we got that much done. And then the only thing left to do is put a couple of braces in here. So I'm going to put one flat in here, weld that in, and then probably put one up here on the top to support this nut a little bit better. But before I weld that nut in there, I'm going to put the bolt, the pushing bolt in, and I'm going to make sure it lines up with the plate, so it will line up with the hole, and then I'll weld this in, tack it, and then weld it good. The only other modification is I might need to do, I'm thinking about it, is I have some pullers. I have a puller for, because I'm a mechanic, I have a puller for the front balancer for a motor, and they come with a little button that goes in the end, so there's a hole drilled, and then the button goes in, and it's got a little ball on there to hold it in there, and it kind of allows the bolt to turn without turning the wedge, the pointed button. So I might drill a hole in the end of this so it'll fit, and then I'll just use the button so it goes and pushes on the edge. It's kind of got a taper on it. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll see how everything works out, and so I will come back once I get ready to start welding it together, and then I'll give you an update on how it works. So until then, this is Flatlander Mike signing off. Hey, Flatlander Mike back again. We're going to update here and finish off this puller for the idler wheels on Camso tracks. So we're going to just show you what I did here. I'm just pretty much finished. Just have to do give it a little bit of a paint job just to make it look a little better. So anyway, so here's what I built. So this is kind of an overview. It's here we have the bolt that goes through, and it pushes on the center of the shaft here. We have a V in this bottom part here. It's a 1-inch diameter hole, and then it's just tapered off to a V. And on the back side I did some reinforcing here. I put a piece in here, goes from here, it's 4.5 inches long, goes down to here, and then on the bottom I've got a 3, oh, here, we'll just fix that here. Got a, I think it's 3.5 inches here on the bottom here, and it connects here with the other piece. It's welded there, and then it's welded here on the bottom with the bottom piece here. Now, one thing I should tell you is when you put this bolt in, this is not, it's probably the last thing that they weld on. So what I did was I fastened this flat plate here, the puller plate. I fastened this on and I welded it first. So I welded it to the C's. I call these the C's. That's these things here. And then, so then I had a platform here. Now I just clamped the nut in here with a clamp. I have some small C clamps. And what I did was I ran this down through, and I centered it in the Y here, in the round the part here. So I centered it in there, and then what I did was I took a square and I laid it on here on this platform, and then checked the square. Make sure that this was absolutely square with the platform here. If it's not square, you're going to be pulling on an angle, and it's going to bind the bearings. So you want to make sure this is square up and down, completely straight up and down, and square to this platform here. Also, drilled a hole in the end of this. I have these little things. Now I've got 2 of them. I got one small one, and then I have the big one. I'm pretty sure, well, I'm not sure, but I think the big one will work best. So it's a 3/8 hole. I just drilled it in the end of the bolt there, and it just pushes in like that. There we go. Sorry. So anyway, so then you just bring this back out, put this around behind the wheel, the idler wheel, and you screw this down against the shaft, and should pull it off. So anyway, I think that's about all. I welded the nuts on the top here. I put 2 nuts on it, and they're welded on top and on the bottom. One thing I should say is when you're welding, but you should know if you're a welder, but I'll tell you just in case. So down here where I welded the nut, I know better, but it didn't work out. So when I welded the nut on here, I touched the nut on the inside, and it kind of buggered up the threads. So what I did was I have a 5/8 course tap, and took the bolt out, and I ran the tap through, cleaned the threads. So, and I used the silver anti-seize, and I put that on the threads. Works really good for lubricating. It's kind of like a sticky, kind of a pasty thing, and works really good. Anyway, so all I got left to do is give it a little bit of paint, and then we're off. And in about 2 months, I'll be able to try it out, make sure it works, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. So anyway, so this is Flatlander Mike signing off. Until the next video, we'll see you later.